Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC out in the woods looking at another outdoors garment from Varusteleka. This is the newly released, I say newly released, I think it's been out a couple of months, I've had this a couple of months now. This is their updated Windproof Anorak. Now I have made some content on the Windproof Smock, which is a full zip front, so if you want to see some content on that I'll leave a link wherever the link goes. But this is the over the head Anorak version using a similar windproof material. Now before we start, as I always try to do, so as far as sizes is concerned, I went for the extra large, and you know, it fits me perfectly. Actually, with probably just enough room, as I have done whilst I wore this during, it wasn't really the winter, I haven't had it that long, but kind of the beginning of spring when it was still a little bit colder. I can still put another layer underneath here and not have any issues getting this on or getting this off. Or it's always fun getting these on and off anyway, but you know, we'll cover that bit in a minute. So I got this in extra large. It's a European extra large. I'm 5'10", which is 176 centimeters. I have a 46 to 48 inch chest, which I can't remember what that is. I'll leave all the details down here. I'm about 200 pounds, which is about 95 kilos. And yeah, you know, it fits me really well. As far as colours are concerned with this, at the time of filming, it's available in two colours. You have this tan version that I have on today, and there is also a black version. Now, I know Varusteleka also have similar garments using a similar windproof, windstopper material like this. They also have them in green as well. At the time of filming, they don't have those yet, but if you see this in the future, there very well may be a chance that they have these in green as well. But at this moment in time, they're in tan and they're in brown. As far as the materials are concerned, so the material on this is very nice. It's a very canvas-like. It's not a canvas. I don't know the difference between a canvas and a lin. Anyway. So this is made from a poly organic cotton blend. I think it's 65% poly and 35% organic cotton. So it's very tough. There's almost, again, just a wee crinkle factor to it, but it's not as loud as like a hard shell. You certainly can't hear yourself walking. If that, again, is that something that you consider when you're looking at something, the amount of noise that it makes. There is a little bit of noise, but it's not massive. I think if you're out, you do a lot of field sports, maybe you're concerned about the amount of noise that you make, then you certainly shouldn't be too concerned with this. But it definitely feels nice and tough. When you get this, as it is now out of the box, there isn't any sort of weatherproofing to this, which seems like a strange thing to say considering this is a wind stopper material. So it will stop wind when you're wearing this. Now it has a strange kind of thermal property to it in the fact that when there is less wind you feel warmer. It's strange, that, isn't it? But it's not lined or anything like that, so there's no insulation on here. However, you will find if you're in a windy day that you would feel warmer wearing this than not wearing a wind stopper fabric, because that wind cutting through reduces your core temperature, which will make you feel colder. So it's nice to have that. So that's the kind of that weather element that I meant. But on the flip side, as far as something like the rain is concerned, it was just raining ever so slightly. Whilst I've been out testing this, I've done a few walks. One of the times that I was out, there was a light rain and it was fine. It just, you know, it provided me the protection that I needed. But if you're out in a really torrential downpour, it's a poly cotton blend at the end of the day. There's you know, you'll probably get wet. However, if you want to, you can wax this, which will add an additional layer of protection against wet weather if you choose to. I haven't with this one, but I have done with some other ones that I have from Varusteleka, and they do incredibly well at just repelling the rain and keeping you nice and dry. Yeah, so there you go. Now, as far as the other materials on here, there is some hook and loop here on the wrists, which we will have a look at on the biceps here as well. And then you have some zips. Excuse me. The zips are all YKK zips. There are, I'm trying to remember how many zips there are. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 zips on here, 2 on the bicep pocket, 1 on the front here, and then 1 on the front here as well. There are some buttons, really nice chunky Canadian buttons. Canadian buttons on here, so a Canadian button different from a normal button is, rather than having those 4 holes that the thread gets passed through. A Canadian button has these slots, and then there's a piece of webbing or a piece of ribbon, and that's what the Canadian buttons go through. It makes them incredibly durable, a lot more durable than say normal buttons, which, you know, have a habit of kind of coming off. What I will say is the construction of this is exactly as I would have expected from Varusteleka. They make very rugged, tough outdoors gear. It's part of their own range, and yeah, it's really good. Now, getting into the actual features on here. Now, as far as a smock is concerned, I'd say this follows a fairly traditional kind of outdoor smock layout. Probably looking at it just here, me standing here with this on, you can probably see that it has a very similar sort of kind of traditional feel to it. Starting at the top, you have a really nice large hood. If you are doing some climbing or something like that, and you need to put a helmet underneath here, there's ample room to be able to put a helmet. In fact, on the back here, if you can see, so I do have this pinched in a little bit at the back so that it's a little bit smaller, but if you want to, there's some Velcro on the back, you can let that off. To make it even bigger, so that if you need to put something underneath here, then you can do. If you're doing some field sports and maybe you've got some cans, you want to put some ear pro underneath here as well, no issues with them whatsoever. You can adjust the hood as I've just shown. So there's a Velcro piece which, if I put this back to where I had it, that pinches in the hood at the back, which makes it a little bit more manageable when you're putting it down. But also, if you just want to keep this off your face, then it works well with that. Now, as far as the brim of here, is there such thing as a soft brim? I guess there must be a soft brim because I know there are wired brims. This is a fully soft brim, there's no wire in there. I guess if you wanted to do some craziness to it, you could put your own little wire in there, but you know, it's fine. There is also, where is it now? A little pull on this, so if you do want to tighten it in around your head because there's some wind or whatever it is that you're doing, you need to be able to turn your head so that you can have it on there, then you can do that as well. And plus, just here, you have these little tabs. So if you want to pull on these as well, that will kind of, so that the one at the back will kind of fix it around your head, but then if you want to make that entrance smaller, then you can pull on those and that will make it smaller as well. The front on this, I really like how they've done this. It's, again, it's just not complicated. It's a very simple way of doing it, and I've seen this on some other ones. It's not, I don't think it's something that is kind of unique to Varusteleka, but it's a very easy and simple system. So you have a few different closures on here. First one being this flap that you can just see flapping around at the moment. If you don't want to have this flapping around, there's a small little elastic eyelet on there, and then on the inside here there is a button, and all you have to do is put that in there. It's always good fun trying to do stuff on camera. Slide it over the button, and that will keep that completely out of the way. So if you wanted just to zip this up, you can't zip it up. If you wanted to button this up, that's what I meant. If you want to button this up, then you can do, and that is out of the way. Or if you want to, there is also a button here right at the top, like so. The main reason for that button on the inside is so that if you want to have it open like this and you don't want to have that flap in the way, then you can just move it out of the way. The zip, which I confused myself with, the zip is here on the side. So let's say you have the hood down but you want to keep this closer to your face. I realise if I put this up you can't hear me talking. Then you can have that there and move it out the way. Or you can go all the way, zip it up, and then you can do the buttons up as well, and you know, yeah, it's a good system. Now personally I've found that if you just kind of push that in there and then tuck it kind of into your collar like that, you don't need to use that button. It's good that it's there though, because I can imagine if it was a blustery windy day and this is going all over the place, I don't know, you're somewhere deep in the Brecons and the rain's coming down like that, it'll move this around and eventually that'll come out. But it does a good job just tucking it into there, and yeah, double thumbs up. Now on the front, so as far as pockets are concerned, I think it's classed, it's got 5 pockets. On the front here you have a double pocket. So coming in from the top here, now on front of this you do have this really large rain hood, so if you are going to put something into this rain hood will stop any water from going into the zips. Did I mention all of the zips on here are big kind of tough YKK zips? So on the front it is ambi open, so depending if you're a lefty, if you're a righty, then you can open this up all the way. And then on the inside here you have this large pocket. Maps, gloves, hats, whatever it is that you need to put, snacks, it will all fit in here. So if you can see, so this comes all the way across here, down the side, this large pocket. Now imagine kind of A4 size. I think it's actually larger than, I'll tell you what, I'll put the exact dimensions here, but yeah, really large. You can pretty much fit whatever you want into here. There is also some organisation in here as well. So you've got this main pocket that you can just drop your stuff into, but then on the inside, I'm just to show this, there are, can you see this seam here? Hopefully you can see that seam there. So there are 2 slip pockets. So let's say if I wanted to put my mobile phone, I can put my mobile phone into this slip pocket here on the left hand side. Where's my wallet? A wallet I can put into this slip pocket here on the right hand side. And then it's very easy then to be able to find my gear, take it out, and yeah, do whatever it is that you need to do with it. So that's that front pocket. Now there is also a secondary pocket behind here. So that's your zip that goes in, and then here coming in from the sides you have a full pass-through pocket, and this is lined with this like a light fleece. It's on the back side, by the way. So here, there's the material that the outer's made from. And there's that fleece. So, as I've found, watching my daughter play football on a Saturday afternoon and it's a little bit cold, you just want to put your hands into here, then, I mean, you don't put your hands into here, I put my hands into here. That would be weird although if you just came behind me and just gently put your hands in, as long as you would, anyway. Yeah, so putting your hands in here, nice and warm, and it's insulated because you've got that fleece in there, but what you've also got is, so if you imagine the inside of here is the back side of this pocket, so there's that fleece, you then got another layer of this material which are those slip pockets, and then you've got the outer material here. So keeping your hands warm in this pocket is very, very easy. Yeah, and it is lovely and warm when it gets cold. That's kind of it for the front. It's as I say, it's a fairly traditional anorak with these kind of with the front pockets on here. Coming down to the hem, it doesn't have a pull cord on the hem, so if you did want to tighten this up, it doesn't have that, but it does have a longer hem. So if you're walking and you have a backpack on, especially if you've tied, especially if you're using a waist belt, because you tend to kind of pull these up just a little bit. It is lengthened, so it does go over. It does go over your buttocks, which is great. For donning and doffing, you have two large zips here. Now, I'm not going to do this all the way, because this zip does go all the way up to here in the armpit. So if you need to take this off, and I would definitely recommend using these zips to take it on and off. It definitely makes it easier, especially if you're a bit like me. Every single time I tend to take something off, I tend to take off my t-shirt at the same time, accidentally, whilst I'm doing it, and then everyone's like, brilliant, everyone's seen Randy's belly for the day, made in Moorlands, tattooed around my belly button. I haven't. So yeah, so you have these large zips. Now they're double zips, so the zip that comes all the way down here, there is also a secondary one here in the armpit. So if you want to open this up, like on a day today, I've come out reasonably early today, but it is still quite warm, so you can zip these down to allow some air in through the armpit, and it does an incredibly good job at allowing air to get in. As soon as I've done this, I can feel just a little bit more cooler. Now, as far as the arms are concerned, fairly standard arms. I'd say for my reach, it's just about right. They don't kind of raise up too high. And then you have two bicep pockets, or at least you have one bicep pocket, one on each bicep. So I'll show you this one for now, but the other one is exactly the same here. I happen to have a little, I got my bag out with me today, so I've put a Go Ruck patch on it. But you do have bicep and morale patches, and then there is a zip here and a reasonably large pocket. I can put my hand in there. I'm not going full span, but I can put my hand in there and flare it out just a little bit. Again, if you want to put your wallet into here, if you're doing some sort of field sports and you've got some notes, or maybe you're at the range and you've got your documents with you, then you can keep those in there, so they're always with you. But yes, so what you see here on my right bicep is exactly the same here on your left bicep. The Finnish are very forward-thinking people, and appreciate that lefties have always been suppressed in life. So whether you're a lefty or a righty, then yeah, you've got both of the options. The last little bit really comes down to the cuffs. So if I put these on the widest part, as you can imagine, for a place like Finland, it happens to get a little bit cold in the winter. So these have been designed so that if you need to wear gloves, then you can fit pretty much any gloves into here. If you've got some cold weather gloves that go further up your arm, then you can fit them in there. I have 7.5 inch wrist, and like a wizard sleeve, I can get both hands in there. That's what she said. But generally I just put it down like that. Fairly kind of standard. You've got your hook and loop on there, give it a bit of a fold over, and then yeah, you're on, you're good. And that's it. I'm very impressed with this. This is one of those items that I'd seen on the Varusteleka website for quite some time now, and I got in touch with them, and we were talking about some different things and kind of the different products that they got, and one of the other things was this, their mega kind of thing. And I mentioned that I'd always wanted to try one, and the lady there, really nice. She was like, we'll send you one if you like, because we've just had these new in. These are the kind of the new and updated versions, which I suppose would make sense if we talk about this. So recently Varusteleka have moved their manufacturing from China all the way back here to Europe. It was one of the things that they'd got a lot of feedback from their customers, saying that although they were always very happy with their products, it would be great if they were fully made here in Europe. So that's one of the things that they've just done. They called it their mega thing, which was Make Europe Great Again, which I like the little twist on that. So what it's meant is that every single, I think they've got them all now. pretty sure they've got them all now, because they've been talking about it a lot on their website. But every single product that was made in China has now been brought back to Europe. These were made in Latvia. I believe there are also some made in Finland, there's some made in Estonia, and there's some made in Poland. Not this, but there's different products made. There are different products made in different areas. They've also been very transparent about the increase in price as well. So what you may notice is, if you bought one of these a few years back and you're going to go and pick one of these up now, as this being that kind of updated version. Now the updates are some little kind of quality of life things, but they've also looked at the material, seeing if they can update, and that was with the organic cotton, and also the cut of it. They've changed the cut ever so slightly, and they do state this on the website. So if you have got one of these and maybe you're looking to purchase a second one, double check your measurements. Don't just go, oh, well, I had an extra large before, I'll just get an extra large again. Double check your measurements just to make sure. There's a very good chance if you've got an extra large, then just get an extra large and it should be fine. But double check the measurements just in case. But again, so as mentioned, so bringing them over here, so you may note, well, you will definitely notice, if you bought one of these a few years back, you will see that they have increased in price. And that is mainly down to the fact that they've removed them from being made in China. It's been made here in Europe, and European labour costs are ever so slightly higher. But they have been very honest and very transparent about that, which I really do like about them. I think it's good that they've done that. There's a video that they've made which gives a little bit more information about kind of the markups when they were made in China, because it was cheaper to make them. It meant that they could make more profit from them, but with them being made in Europe now, they're more expensive to make, so that their markup and the profit that they're making isn't as high. But anyway, that's just me rambling. So I do like the fact that they moved everything back to Europe. It was something that customers have been requesting for a long time, but it has meant that there is a slight increase in price. Well, it has meant that there is a increase in price. So yeah, so there you go. I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent on that last bit, just kind of talking to them, but of all the people that I've worked with, there's lots of companies that I work with, and I will always say that Varusteleka are an amazing company to work with. One of the things that they allow me to do is just make content that I want to make with their gear, and they're just happy for me to make any honest content. Like with this, if there's, I don't know, is there anything that'd change? I tell you what, there is something that I would change, and I think this would be a simple thing. For me, it's not actually affected me, but I could see it might happen. So where your zips are down here, I know some other companies, what they might do is, so you have your zip, and this is just free to open whenever it wants to. Some companies have like a little flap that comes over here with Velcro, or maybe a press stud. If they just added one of those, that might stop that from coming up. I've not had any issues with it, but there's me being honest if there's something that I would change about this. So yes, I've gone off on way too many tangents there at the end. So what I will say is a huge thank you to Varusteleka for sending this to me. I will leave their links below so that you can see more from them, where you can pick one of these up. Have a look at the website, make sure you check the sizes, and also have a look about that little bit about the mega thing, about bringing stuff into Europe, so it just gives you a little bit more information about that. I'll leave those links below. I'll leave some of my social media links below so you can see more from me here on Moorland EDC, and also my sister channel on YouTube as well, called Moorland Tactical, where we have a look at a little bit more tactical stuff. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Too high now, not bad. I know, what size is it? Oh. It's not very elegant taking it off. Thought it was an extra large. For donning and doffing. Tired now, God, out of breath. All I did was put it on and take it off, or take it off and put it on. Hi. Oh, I've got an itchy neck. There's a lot of flies today. If you see me wafting, it's because of the flies. I am... Anyway.